Oh,
Yikes.
that's not
Oh,
cool.
too soon.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No.
We're live now, I see, right as I said
Oh,
that.
we are live.
We're live.
Okay.
Things are happening.
Let me tell you what I think of the minorities.
Okay, go ahead.
I
Go
have
for it, Phil.
my crazy. You know what I need? I need some crazy Tea Party rhetoric lined up to go.
You can read off of cards.
Yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be real good.
Yeah.
You know that Bob Dylan music video where the people are the guy standing off to the side, like holding up card after card after card of all the lyrics?
Yes.
I thought that was an In Excess video.
Well, yeah, they took that idea, right?
Yeah.
I think some pop singer did it recently too, which is really sad because there are people who were born in the '90s who think that that they invented that. Kind of scary.
Yeah.
But anyway, you could do it kind of like that, Phil. Was my point.
Oh, okay.
You should.
Weird Al did it as well.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm. He did
Which
he recently did a Bob Dylan pastiche, and the video for it has him doing that gag.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yes.
Are you getting Weird Al's new album?
No, I'm not.
Wait, did you pre-order it?
Oh no, I read somewhere that you're not supposed to pre-order things anymore.
Oh, right.
So I figured I'd better not because I don't want to get coached. You know.
What does that involve?
Next time you come visit, I'll show you.
Oh no.
I'll take you out back and show you.
By the way, I'm going to be in San Francisco in a few weeks.
Oh, we'll see. There we go. Perfect timing.
But
Come
I'm
on,
not.
I'm gonna get you cooched.
No.
Yeah, we'll get you cooched. We'll get you cooched nice and good.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I call this one
Do not want.
Pre-order.
Do not want.
Yeah.
No.
This one's called The Fart in the Wind. Come here, I'm gonna cooch you. Yeah.
Nice.
Why are you coming to San Francisco?
Oh, for a casual gaming developers conference.
Okay, you're a casual gamer now, huh?
Casual game, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
I'm
that
not
actually what the
recording
conference
anymore.
is called? Casual Gaming Developers Conference?
Well, no, it's called Casual Connect,
Mm.
actually, which...
That's some weird dating thing that you're involved in.
Yeah,
That's
Tinder.
not.
No.
It has nothing to
Some-
do with games.
right.
It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with games.
Unfortunately named.
Does your wife know that you're going to Casual Connect?
She does.
Oh, okay. So she's cool with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, she's
awesome.
fine with it.
Not
Okay.
bad. Not
I've been
bad,
going
man.
for the last few years, and she's totally been open to it.
I just imagine everyone shows up with their PS Vita and they open the Nier app.
And
That's
everyone's
exactly
like,
what happens.
"What
Yeah.
the hell does this do?" Are we-
Right.
What? I mean, do we become friends? Can we play?
Yeah.
Nier makes no friggin' sense.
I know.
I don't think anyone at Sony knows what Nier does.
It's true. Hey, should we start the show? Should we do something?
I
here?
guess yeah. Let's start recording. Hey, you know what though?
You know what? You don't have to record. I'm recording. Me.
Oh, you sure?
Me.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay.
I
Not
hit
even
the
a backup?
record button, so I'm sure.
Not even well, I mean, I have all faith that you are actually recording, but you don't need me to do like a backup track or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What if your computer crashes?
Well, then we skip this week.
What if your RAM gets defragged or something?
That's not going to happen.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Do you have the?
I have a backup.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. You have it in your BIOS?
No. No,
Okay.
I don't.
Access your BIOS and perform the RAM
Mm-hmm.
on the ROM.
Okay.
Now,
Yikes.
I don't know. Okay. Well, You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and close
Are we ready then?
Audio Hijack Pro.
Everyone's microphone's in the correct position, upright and locked position.
Yes.
Something's
Okay.
upright and
Take
locked.
off.
It's not my microphone.
Yikes.
I call it the cooch.
Oh. Hello and welcome to episode 401 of the Player One podcast for Monday, July 14th, 2014. Hey, it's Bastille Day. And I'm not going to read whatever somebody put in this outline, but
you have to read the script.
I do?
Read the script.
It's very tasteful.
Yo, 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 that means we all Bastille Day up in this bitch. All you French MFers in the hizzy, get your revolution on and get to storming some 40s and getting mad je suis crunk.
It's je suis.
Je suis crunk.
Come on.
All right, I'm your host.
Hey, you missed the sign off there.
Le Hala.
No, it's Le Hala.
Okay. So I guess now I know who wrote that in the outline.
I just interpret. Okay.
Clearly.
Yes.
I'm your host, Chris Johnson. With me, as always, is my co-host from California, Mr. Phil Theobald.
I'm just representing for our friends in jolly old France.
Yeah?
Yeah, that noise you're hearing in the
that
background is Finn getting ready to go for a walk.
Well, of course. Of course we know,
Hi, Finn.
we know that. And joining us this week, special guest directly from the Back in My Play podcast, Mr. Josh Hillyer. Hello, Josh.
Hello. I just want to say that it's awesome to be here, and also it's pretty clear to me that after hitting the 400 milestone, the only way to take things up a notch was to bring me on. Right? You had to do something big the following week. So,
that is right.
It came down to me or various Hollywood stars, but
that's right.
The way CJ explained it to me was that we've been on your show, so it was just kind of like, well, we should probably
we got to get this guy on at some point.
As
throw him a bone.
Yeah.
No, but you're co-host of Back in My Play, a very fine retro podcast with Kevin Larrabee. And I wanted to start off by asking you how you got involved in that show to begin with. Did you know Kevin beforehand, or how'd you land on that?
It's kind of a strange story, and I found myself talking about this with the author of Console Wars, actually, in New York City recently when I happened to just bump into him, and we started talking to each other, which was weird. But anyway, he seemed very creeped out by my story, so here you go. NeoGAF.
Excellent.
You guys invited me.
It's the NeoGAF.
The NeoGAF. The Neo GIF. The NeoGAF.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hard G.
Soft.
It's pronounced David Jaffe.
David Gaffey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, NeoGAF, Kevin Larrabee made a thread in 2012, and he said, or was it 2013? Anyway, sometime, and he said, I want to make a retro gaming podcast. And he put all of his credentials into this original post. Okay, he's like, look at the Fitcast. This thing is legitimate, and I've been producing this thing for a long time. And I don't know if he mentioned his pecs or not. Or that was something I picked up on. Yeah. So, but anyway, he said that he needed some co-host, and I replied and said, hey, I have a degree in television and film, and used to be a radio host, and have done various things where I talk a lot. And I'm kind of obsessed with retro games, so give me a shot. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And he...
If you're going to say that, you have to sing it.
Yeah.
Look at me. I could be center field.
Oh, there you go.
So anyway, kind of Shatner, right? So he brought me
Yes.
on. Long story short, for whatever reason, there was a bunch of people who replied, and for whatever reason, he called me, and we started doing a show.
Cool. So did you chat on the phone or over the internet beforehand, or was it just let's record this thing, go?
We talked on the phone first. Yeah, he was in a hotel at some conference or something, and had a very commanding voice when I got on the phone with him, and so I felt that I had no choice but to be on the podcast from that point on.
There you go.
Yeah, very frightening.
Indeed, he's almost done 300 episodes of the Fitcast.
Yeah, that thing is a big deal, and people actually have their lives changed in positive ways because of that podcast, which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And back in my play, of course, people have their lives changed by that podcast as well.
I think people spend a lot more money because of Back in My Play. That's what we're told more often than anything on Twitter is, man, my wallet really hurts this month after listening to that episode and the other one and blah, blah, blah.
You made me buy a Framemeister.
Yeah. And that's Kevin's deal, right? I still have not actually bought a Framemeister. That's all Kevin. But the Neo Geo Pocket Color, people had to go out and buy those, and the games can be kind of expensive these days for that. So I think that's the system that we've gotten the most hate/love mail for. That's the Neo Geo Pocket stuff.
Nobody bought those back in the day. In the U.S., it was just, small market, very small market.
Sadly,
great system, though.
Exactly. It's a really cool little system, and the games hold up nicely for it.
Absolutely. So why don't we get into your origin story there, Mr. Hillyer, and find out how you got into games, because I love stories like that. Of course, we ask usually all the guests that show up on this show how they got into gaming, what game brought them into the fold, and that type of thing.
Yeah, so you guys talk sometimes on the podcast, and especially in the last episode. By the way, this sounds so... I'm always wary when I come on someone's podcast about not being a suck-up, because people do it. Because I was on Radio Free Nintendo one time, and I sort of felt like a suck-up on that one.
No, but please do.
Yes, you guys like it, though, do you?
Yeah. We have very low egos.
Validation.
Well, this is a small podcast, so we need to be validated.
Right.
Here we are.
Validate me, Dad.
Oh, no.
I'm not going there. I'm not. So, 400 episodes, though. That's really cool. So, congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I thought that Grisham, I'm sure he's going to listen to this at some point if he's not watching it right now, did a really awesome job. Just because I teach some journalism types of courses still, at the university level. And he's good. He's just really good and asked you guys great questions and kept the thing flowing nicely. And wow, I think that was just a cool way to listen. And you guys were talking on the podcast about you guys were talking on the podcast about how you were afraid that wouldn't be a good one for someone to listen to as the first episode.
Yeah.
But I thought actually, if that was the first one I ever listened to, I would think this is something that I need to dig into a little bit. It really established sort of the show's place in the... What's that French word, Phil, since you wrote that nice intro?
Bastille Day.
Le blogosphere.
The blogosphere? But you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? Milieu?
Yeah.
In the milieu.
Kind of where it's situated. I don't know how I got off on that tangent, though. What did you ask me?
Okay. I don't actually speak French. I don't know if that... Huh?
That came through loud and clear, Phil.
Did it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. No, I asked about your gaming origins, how you started, what game got you into it.
Now I know why I started. This actually was tangentially related. So what I was going to say is that you guys talk on that last episode and periodically, but especially on the last episode, about kind of disconnects between your gaming taste and the taste of people who are so much younger that they started in the PS2 era, or the late PS1 era. So I'm somewhere between. I'm 30 years old, so I'm somewhere between the really new age kids who were PS2 on, and you guys who played some 2600 stuff and all that, because that was before my time. But I was, NES was my first console, and it was given to me as a Christmas gift when I was 5 years old, I want to say. So this is the late 80s that we're talking about when I received this NES with Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. That bundle that I think everybody had at some point in their lives.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so I fell deeply in love with it. There's this video still around somewhere in my mom's house. I need to find it, of me beating Super Mario Brothers for the first time on a black and white television. Which that's all I had. Yeah.
Man.
I thought they loved me, but anyway. So I was beating it on a black and white television and celebrating, like, while wearing a Nintendo Power T-shirt, and it was pretty clear that I was doomed to a life of video game love from that point on. There's sort of no coming back from that. That's like when Michael Jordan won his third NBA title, right? You're gonna just keep playing basketball and winning titles, is my metaphor.
Until you quit and try baseball.
Right, but
for a little while.
Came back.
Just for a little while.
Yeah, that's true.
It came back. So anyway, I mainly played Nintendo consoles. I got a PlayStation on launch day. I got a Dreamcast. I had a Genesis. I played everything along the way, and I had friends who had Saturns, and I had a friend who had a Jaguar. So I think I played a little bit of everything. Yeah, always kind of.
Hey, I pre-ordered a Jaguar.
Did you really?
They had to transfer it from a store in New York to the one in the Babbage's that I worked at in Aurora, Illinois, because I wanted that system so bad.
So they were like, "Are you sure you really want this?"
I bought into Dave Halverson's word that this thing was awesome, and Cybermorph was pretty bad.
It does have a few pretty cool games, though. Like, I think the Doom port is pretty good for it.
Yeah, Doom's good.
And what's the Aliens game?
Aliens vs. Predator?
Yeah. That's supposed to be pretty hot. And Micah was talking on our last episode about some unreleased Bomberman.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta listen to that one.
Yeah, it was supposed to be pretty hot, but it didn't end up happening. He still has it, though.
So you haven't skipped any generations. You've gone. You've had at least one system in each generation up to now.
Yeah, absolutely. It was always like, make sure I get the Nintendo one first, and I still am very much a big Nintendo fan, which that's pretty much the main thing that Kevin and I argue about. For those who don't listen to the show, is he doesn't like current day Nintendo as much as I do. So we have to sort of fight about that a smidge. He's very much into the Sony these days, which I like a lot of what they're doing as well.
Sure.
But yeah, it was always NES, SNES, N64, GameCube, Wii. Those are always like my lead consoles.
Wow.
Okay.
And I've stuck with it over the years. There was like maybe a little period of time in high school when I thought I was a little too cool. And I think part of that was sort of fatigue. Okay, do you guys remember this point in time, sort of like the midway towards the end of the PS1 cycle, like right before the Dreamcast came out?
Yes.
Like late 90s. I don't know. I just feel like it was sort of a blah time in gaming, and I know people are going to argue, well, like Half-Life came out and Metal Gear Solid and etc. But there just wasn't a lot of stuff that was really gripping me, and the N64 was like only getting a game every 6 months. It felt like.
Yeah.
So I just sort of fell out of it for a little while, but then the
there
GameCube.
Was that time too, where like we were promised that full motion video and CD-ROM technology was going to, be such a huge change, and it was. 3D graphics are great, but I don't know. I felt like there was a bit of a point where a lot of games started being very samey around that time.
Yeah, and I think that we weren't seeing as many like B-tier games. Like we started seeing a lot of those again, like in the PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation, and now those have gone away again. Sort of now
it's like indie games, right? Yeah. Indie games sort of replaced the lower end of the spectrum.
And that's
not to say indie games are bad, but like the lower price tiers or the lower budgets. Of games.
And I really have a heart for that sort of stuff. Like, that's just sort of... I feel like there's a lot more innovation going on there, and that's because there can be, because the budget's lower, obviously. And it reminds me more of sort of that mid-90s golden era of gaming. I call it the golden era.
Yeah, the 90s was good, for sure.
So... that's how I did it, and then over time I joined an indie community in Lexington, Kentucky, indie game developers, and I kind of got involved in that community as a writer. I know nothing about coding or developing games, but I know a lot about video games, and I know a lot about writing from my. That's just what I do. I write short stories and screenplay things from time to time with people when invited. So I started sort of informally getting into the industry, and then I got involved with Back in My Play, and so now I'm this fringe person who sort of lurks over the industry, like the moon in Majora's Mask.
But not as menacing, clearly.
Well, I don't know. That's for you to decide.
All right. Alrighty. Why don't we talk about some topics and news? Because there's been, some things happening in the past week. What I wanted to talk about first up is pre-orders. Everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
There was an editorial earlier last week from Mr. Ben Kuchera about how people should not pre-order Alien Isolation because of the pre-order bonuses, and because the only people who benefit from pre-orders are the retailers. So you shouldn't.
Hold on a second, CJ. I just I'm going to go to Polygon real quick, see if Sega's been advertising on there lately. Hold on a second.
And is there a graph that goes with this article, perchance?
Yeah. There's no graph.
Okay.
Pie chart that shows how much Activision advertises with them and how much Ubisoft advertises with them.
That would be nice, actually.
Sega has that tiny little sliver, so they get the article.
Yeah. To me, the fact that this article is ripping on Alien Isolation is just kind of, that's the convenient scapegoat, right? Because Alien's Colonial Marines.
Well, that last game was
panned pretty heavily, and then now you have another Aliens game coming out that happens to have, some pretty cool pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I thought we'd chat a little bit about the changing face of pre-orders. Because back in the day, I worked at Babbage's, and I pre-ordered my fair share of games, and put myself on the call list for various games. I'm probably still on the M2 call list at Babbage's in Aurora, Illinois. Whenever that thing. Well, wait, it's not coming out. M2?
Give it time.
No, it's they're working on it still.
Still, yeah. So I used to be like, call lists used to be great, and having stores set aside copies, and then you had to put down some money for them to do that, like $5, and then wait, now you have to pay the full amount for them to set aside a copy, and now we're at the point where you pre-order in order to get extra content, and some people on the internet feel that is a bit of a scam. Because, well, if they have all this content ready, why isn't it in the game by itself? To which I even wonder if that content would be made if it were not to help spike pre-order sales of these AAA games.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I feel like that exists for.
Well, particularly in the case of this Aliens game, what is it, like the original actors, right, from the 80s films or something?
Yeah, they're reprising their roles for single-player content.
First film.
Yeah.
And it was a 70s film, actually.
70. Really?
I believe. Yeah, I want to say 79.
Yeah, 70s.
Check.
Yeah. Oh.
79.
Right.
Bam.
You're right.
Out of the park.
Oh.
But yeah, they got Sigourney Weaver to reprise her role, and
and she's been all. She like hates video games, doesn't she?
Does she?
I seem to remember ages ago reading how, like, with previous Aliens games and things like that, no one could get Sigourney Weaver to do any voiceover work because she really disliked video games or something like that.
Huh.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. But.
Yeah. Well, my main point in bringing up like exactly what it is I agree with you, CJ, that whatever it would cost to hire these people, like that does seem like something that you have to have some special reason to be doing.
Right.
In a pre-order bonus or whatever paid DLC, because it will be offered as paid DLC after the game is released. I read there was some confusion about that originally.
Yeah, I think it was after everybody put up, the usual internet flaming that Sega said, "Oh yeah, well we'll offer it later as DLC as well."
Yeah.
And to me, like a lot of these things, like if I only have to put $60 down and I get all of this extra content for it that will later be available separately as a paid download, why not? Like if I'm interested in the game, why wouldn't I do that? Like that's just like The Last of Us remastered that comes out later this month. I pre-ordered that digitally, and that comes with some extra stuff, not extra story content, but like you start with certain stats already pumped up, and they give you some multiplayer stuff as well. So why not? I'm gonna enjoy that game. I'm gonna play through it. Sure, I'll take that stuff.
And at some places, you're talking about having to pay for the entire thing. At some places like Amazon, you don't pay anything until it ships.
That's true, and actually, that's something that I wish was the case with digital pre-orders, where you weren't charged until like it began preloading or something like that, where you could cancel up until that point.
Right.
That would be nice.
Sure, absolutely.
Because then you don't run into situations like the Destiny pre-orders, where they were taking pre-orders before they announced all of this like extra digital deluxe edition stuff, and you wouldn't have to worry then about upgrading your purchase or whatever. You could cancel one and pre-order the new one and not worry about getting overcharged. Or it's a situation like The Last of Us Remastered, where when I pre-ordered it, it was $60, and then they lowered the price by $10.
Did they give you back $10?
Yes, I have $10 of PSN credit, but yeah, I would avoid that. So, do you guys pre-order games? I know that Greg Seward went on a bit of a defensive on Twitter, because he pre-orders mainly to save a bunch of money at Best Buy.
Future Shop.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Shop of the future.
This year he did Best Buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were they the ones with the discount this time?
Yeah, they had a discount. Although I think Best Buy owns Future Shop in Canada.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, if I could get those crazy savings here in the U.S., then yes, I would totally be pre-purchasing games. I pre-order games from Amazon all the time, but
for release date delivery.
For release date delivery, but does that count? I mean, I guess technically it does.
Yeah.
They'll have the retailer exclusive stuff on occasion and that sort of thing, but I don't really consider it pre-ordering in the traditional sense, because I'm not actually giving them money.
Right. Amazon is really the only way that works, because if you pre-order, at GameStop or at if you're doing a digital pre-order, they take your money right then.
Right. And I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, if we're talking Amazon, I pre-order movies and books all the time as well. So
yeah,
But the companies take a look at those pre-order numbers periodically, so I guess that it counts.
Yeah.
They absolutely do, and you gotta expect Amazon uses part of that in order to see what the demand is going to be for this game and how much of whatever you're talking about they should order, etc. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think pre-ordering is as evil as some people seem to think.
That seemed like sort of there's a lot of bad practices in retail these days to rail against, but pre-ordering seemed like sort of a strange one to me, in which the whole thing is honestly the consumer has the power to do whatever they want with it. Right? Like, we can cancel our pre-orders if we don't want them.
That's true, but then you have to go to the store, transfer it to a new game.
That was part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was part of the argument.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems sort of like water is wet.
Yeah, exactly. And then GameStop has also announced within the last week or so that they're going to assist in funding some games, or at least extra content for some games, which again, is to their benefit. Like to if they want to fund some of this DLC that wouldn't have been made without that extra revenue, then I'm fine with that. I don't pre-order at GameStop personally. It's been a long time since I pre-ordered anything at a retail store.
Mm-hmm.
I was all about Amazon until I went digital with this new generation.
Ah, yes.
The all digital future.
That's right. It's amazing.
I actually have gotten two full retail games on Wii U digitally recently, and I kind of like it, being able to switch games that quickly.
It's nice, isn't it? It's convenient. Yeah. It's great.
And not to hear the disc sound or anything like that.
Exactly.
Because I had a bunch of those Mario Kart 8 codes, so I got a few of those games.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, let's talk about the Vita, which apparently is sold out everywhere. Which is a good problem to have, but perhaps a bad problem to have. Yeah, I haven't seen a Vita in a store in a while. But people are acting like this is a surprising thing when you have to remember that the Vita is how old in the retail marketplace, and there are so many months of historical data that would suggest that the Vita wasn't going to suddenly take off, even with the advent of the Borderlands 2 SKU that came out a couple months ago. So, should it be that surprising that stores are out of them? I don't even know if how much of a spike it really had. Clearly, it did have some sort of spike, but yeah, I'm not that surprised by this.
Didn't it go up to like 50,000 units the month that Borderlands that bundle came out? It was
something like that.
It was an increase of like over 40,000, which is pretty big. I can't remember the actual percentage, but it was like, I want to say like 400% or something, like unreal.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering now, like, is it actually sold out? Or do people or companies or stores just not restocking it?
Right, or is it the simple fact of they didn't expect that it would take off, so they only ordered what they thought they could sell, based upon the previous however many months of it not selling particularly well.
Well, and I got that bundle from GameStop, the Borderlands bundle, and they did not have any physically there in the store. They had to have it ordered for me and sent directly to my house. And Amazon wasn't selling it anymore at that point. Newegg wasn't selling it. Best Buy didn't have it in stock, so that was like my only option. And that was back in early June.
Yeah.
And so this has still continued for over a month.
In part, is Sony? Did Sony expect the Borderlands 2 bundle to do as well as it did? Were they expecting to see a sort of sustained sales increase with this? I'm not sure that they were.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, and Sony announced recently that they're not really going to push first-party games on Vita anymore, right? That's not going to be a priority for them to develop things from the ground up.
Yeah.
So that would suggest to me, that pretty much tells you where they stand. That if they don't feel that, if they feel like it can just be supported by ports and independent developers, then that's not something that they're really fully behind anymore.
Yeah.
Sadly.
It's true. The Vita is a great little system. It really is, and I wish that had equaled sales success for it within the first 2 years when people were actively supporting it.
I think Sony really looked at that like initial launch period because they had so many boxed games available on day one. It was a pretty robust lineup with games from all sorts of different genres, even fighting games, and it just sort of failed to move the needle on any grand level And so, aside from Gravity Rush and Persona 4 Golden and a few things, there just haven't really been enough titles to suggest that there is a physical retail market for it.
Yeah.
And it's sad though, because I feel like for people who came up in the 90s golden era of gaming, that this is like the perfect machine for you.
Absolutely.
You can play so many PS1 games on it. There's a lot of great indie games that have that same sensibility. It has both analog sticks. It has really good battery life. It's
great screen.
Yeah, I mean, I would have killed for that screen when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that I have a young kid and you guys have young kids, and like, I can't even think of a time when my daughter has picked up my Vita, but I can't keep her away from my iPhone. And they're both sitting in the same room always, so she could walk over and pick it up and try to mess with it and say, Daddy, turn it on or whatever. But I don't know. There's something about that no-button interface that really interests young people these days.
Yeah.
I know you're right. Like a curmudgeon here, but.
Certainly Nintendo has felt a hit on that as well, since the 3DS is not selling as well as their previous portable hardware has.
Yeah, and part of the whole Wii U gamble is that people would like being able to use it like a handheld in the house.
Yeah.
Like as a second screen when somebody else is using the television.
Yeah.
And, the people who do have the console like that. But obviously that alone has not been much of a selling point for the console.
This is true. So what do you feel about the word or the phrase console exclusive, Phil?
I am not a fan.
Not a fan?
I do not like console exclusivities.
Yeah. Well, it only means that, it's coming out on the PC and this console, right? It doesn't mean that it's only coming out on Xbox or only coming out on PlayStation. Yeah, it's a little bit of an odd term.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how else you describe those types of deals that are going on, right?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I want everyone to have their games.
Yeah.
Why can't you have the game?
I want the game. I want it.
Then take it. Be a man. Stand up. Take it.
Well, the thing with that is that depending on which consoles you own, when someone announces a console exclusive, it's going to come to the other platform eventually.
Yeah.
Right? So
usually.
The term is fairly meaningless at this point. Just buy it whenever it comes out on the machine that you're currently playing.
Mm-hmm.
Until the point where one platform becomes the clear winner, and then we may come to the point where console exclusive on PlayStation means that Xbox does not get it at all.
Right. And so far we've seen more examples of this, surprisingly or perhaps unsurprisingly enough, on Xbox One. This generation.
Yeah.
With Titanfall and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare and there's one or two other things I can't think of at the moment.
Yeah, whenever anybody announces a game that is platform exclusive, but it's not Microsoft or Sony who's doing the publishing, I always then decide to wait until it comes out on whatever platform I prefer to buy it on. Like, I think PlayStation 4 has become my main console now, and so a game like Super Time Force, for instance, which I'm interested in playing, looks great.
Yeah.
Came out on Xbox One back in May, and they haven't said anything about PS4, but they just announced a Steam version of that game, and I figure eventually it's going to come out on PS4, so I'm just going to wait instead.
So what do you think? It's probably a year-long exclusivity agreement or something like that?
Perhaps
console exclusivity. We should
console exclusivity. Yeah, I mean, I love Plants vs. Zombies on the Xbox One, but I think that there will probably be more people playing it on the PS4 when that version comes out in August.
Sure, yeah, bigger install base for one thing.
Yeah, what is it?
PS3.
Ubisoft in their financials this past week said that PS4 versions are outselling Xbox One like 2-1.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Was there a graph that went along with that?
No graph, no graph. But I look forward to the Polygon article saying that the Xbox One port of the next Assassin's Creed may be the lowest selling in the franchise's history.
Well, when you look at the numbers, I mean, it's going to sell 1/3 of what the next gen will sell.
So, Steam has an early access program.
Yes.
For games. Phil, have you gotten into any of the early access games?
I don't believe I have, actually.
No?
I don't believe I have. Yeah, it's not through any actual reason why. It's not like, oh, I'm against it or anything like that. It's just I just never saw one that made me go, ooh, I need to play this before it's kind of finished or anything like that. So
right. Josh, you a PC gamer?
I'm not. It's nothing against it. I just don't have the hardware to actually run those games properly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Sony is apparently pondering an early access type system for the PlayStation, where you could pay to be in alphas, betas, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good idea because that's certainly something that has done well on Steam for a while now.
Yeah.
So, and Sony is sort of positioning themselves as the developers' hardware of the two. Getting a lot of indie developers. So it seems like this is the next logical step, is to allow them to have these alphas or whatever you want to call them, early access situations that.
Yeah.
People can enjoy that right away. So especially if Microsoft is not going to be doing the whole thing where you can use the console to develop. You can use like any console you buy to develop on. And if Sony starts allowing people to do this early access thing, I could just see them really taking a lot of indie developers.
Yeah, that's true. I guess on Steam, the way I feel about it is that you see a lot of games open up as early access, but not as many games graduate from early access into like being a full finished product. For me, I don't want to have to pay for something that's unfinished. I like being able to be in alphas or betas, which more recently has been used mostly as glorified demos.
Yeah.
But I think if you open it up to a true early access program where you're going to run into glitches or they're going to wipe everybody's saves, I think that is mostly a PC gamer's territory where I would not really appreciate that on console as much. For me, in a lot of games, I want to sit down and have fun for the hour or 2 hours that I can get a game in at night. I don't want to have to deal with glitches per se.
Yeah, that might be when console gamers. It sounds good and it sounds like you're getting more choice, but I suppose that might be when console gamers realize how good they've had it.
True.
Like in terms of things actually being tested a lot before we get to play them.
Although we're getting so many like day one patches now, and 5 GB patches for games, like that has gone a little bit out of control.
It has. What was it? Dead Rising 3 that had that humongous patch on day one.
Yeah, it was a 12 GB download.
Jeez.
Wolfenstein just had a 5 GB patch. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. Yeah.
Fix your stuff.
Exactly. All right, one thing I wanted to bring up here at the end of this. So I'm playing Guacamelee, which is a great game, of course.
It's an outstanding game.
It is available on the Xbox One, the Super Turbo Edition, as one of their games with gold free downloads.
Nice.
So
yes.
Got the new one for free, so that's
nice.
And this is something that I've been running into a lot with new generation consoles. It's that the new buttons for start and select on either console, pick your poison there. It's so hard in tutorials when it tells you to press and then it shows you the symbol of the button. But it's usually very small on the screen. And at least in the case of the Xbox One, like, there's very little differentiation between like the row of 3 lines and the 2 little boxes that are on those buttons. Like I wish those buttons had, a more uniform name so they could just tell me instead of showing me a graphic of a gray button that I may or may not be able to see from where I'm sitting away from my television. And part of it is that I'm getting old, of course. My eyes are not as good as they once were, but that's one of my pet peeves now in this new generation. It's like, what is that? Am I supposed to push the touchpad in, or is that like the R3 button, the L3 button, or the option button? I can't tell. Like, it's a gray button. That's it. Yeah. Have you run into this? Am I the only one? I may be the only one.
Yeah, whatever, CJ.
Yeah.
I don't even have a...
complaining about the buttons on the screen.
I know what you're talking about. I really do. I miss Start and Select.
Yeah.
I don't think that was anything that... I don't think anyone asked for those to go away.
Well, the problem with them was that they were incorrectly named for their usual functions. Like, Start and Select were not really what those buttons end up doing.
Sure,
but
it's pause and options.
So instead, they replaced them with, option and a windowed button on the Xbox One, and that makes very little sense to me.
Yeah. Who decided that 3 horizontal lines means options now, by the way?
I don't know.
Was that like a memo that went around?
I missed it. I suppose, yes.
It's like every website has that now at the top, like if you're using a mobile phone.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. I don't get it.
It's the new sideways triangle means play.
What was that? I think I heard a study. There was some study about the iconography of VCRs, and like the play, the fast forward triangles, and everything, and how a certain generation of us know exactly what those mean, and now the younger generation has no idea because they didn't grow up with those buttons meaning anything. So,
well, they have to know what play means.
I would think.
I mean, YouTube. That's how you start up a YouTube video is by pressing.
Right. Yeah.
And same with the pause.
2 lines, right? Yeah.
But then they don't. They fast forward by like scrubbing or whatever, right?
Right.
The kids call it these days.
Kids call it scrubbing.
They move the YouTube bar. Yeah.
Go scrub.
They click on the bar which makes the U dot move.
Exactly.
The scary thing, Phil, is that I wouldn't have to go far from my house to find someone who talks like that. Like, seriously.
Very nice.
Walk around outside for a few minutes.
Throw a stone outside and hit somebody that talks like that. Yeah. So do you guys have VCRs still, by the way?
I actually have one in storage.
Do you really?
I do.
All right. I have like a bunch of VHS tapes and no VCR.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite VHS tape?
My favorite VHS tape?
Like, it doesn't have to be a movie per se. It could be like something that you put a bunch of like episodes of Seinfeld on or something. I don't know.
I used to tape Simpsons episodes. That was
yeah.
And back in the MTV days, I would tape music videos off of MTV.
I used to do that too.
Yeah.
I have some video that has like some VHS tape that has like every early Foo Fighters music video from like their first album through Color in the Shape.
Nice.
Now we have YouTube for that. You can just toss that tape away. I used to have tapes of me playing various games. I think a lot of people did that too.
Yeah, I did that certainly.
Yeah.
Like, are you talking about like you recorded the footage like the way that?
Yeah.
Were you in the shot
That's
or not?
right.
I guess is what I'm asking.
No, not
you
in
just
the shot.
you just run the system through the VCR.
That's right.
If I didn't steal in my VCR, how would I be able to watch my mastering video games tape that I have?
I have that too.
Which
The one with the Metal Gear guy on the front? No?
Kojima?
Yeah, yes.
Not the one you're thinking of?
But no. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, the U.S. video game teams.
Yes,
Top
that's
strategies. Yeah.
Yes, the U.S. video game team, which was somehow affiliated with early EGM or something.
Yes,
Isn't that
that's
right?
correct. Yeah,
Okay,
well,
I thought so.
Early EGM had the U.S. video game teams leaderboards in the back, right?
That's right. Yeah. Something
And at
like
least
that.
I think Steve Harris was like a member of the U.S. video game team, something like that.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I
think. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw this on YouTube. So somebody put together a video for Shovel Knight that's very similar to that old video of NES tips and tricks.
Oh, really?
It's hilarious. Yeah, I'll have to send you the link. It's great.
Fantastic. Secret video game tricks, codes, and strategies.
That's the one.
Is the
I think I bought
Contra
that
on the cover.
I bought that off of a video store that was closing.
Nice.
See, that's a cool thing to have on VHS.
Yeah. I need to, at some point, get some way to transfer that to a digital format.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I have.
I'm guessing you could probably find that online somewhere, that someone has already done
You probably could. Yeah.
And
I used to have all those Nintendo holiday training tapes from the Babbage's days.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't have them anymore, though.
I heard those were horrifying.
Oh, yeah, of course they
They
were.
are.
I have my VHS copy of Mr. T's Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool, which has yet to be released
classic.
on Blu-ray. Yeah. I mean, once it gets out on Blu-ray, then I can probably get rid of the VCR, but
until that point, you can't.
Then, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a really special box set, like the Twin Peaks one that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Mr. T is up next.
That's indeed.
Yes. All right, should we take a break and then talk some more games?
Sure, why not?
Alrighty.
Trivia.
Does anybody need to take an actual break?
I am going to go get a soda beverage.
You do that.
What do you think about that?
Sounds excellent.
Okay.
Play some music.
Bum 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 ba-dum, bum 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 bum.
Is that the chiptune version of that? Because otherwise I'm not interested.
Yeah, I think my favorite chiptune jam you guys ever did was the Frozen song. Do you want to build a snowman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked it when you played that.
Yeah.
My daughter was around and she recognized the melody.
Excellent.
What's that?
Oh, we were talking about Frozen.
What about Frozen?
The song, the 8-bit, the chiptune version that I played as an interstitial song.
Yes.
A few months ago.
Let me ask this.
What's that?
Disney Infinity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to a store. I went to GameStop. I was in the mall, and I saw that they now have Frozen figures.
They do.
Yeah, they have Anna and
Elsa.
Right. And they had one bundle that came with all the extra stuff and everything, and so I bought it. I paid the $30 for it, and I don't know what to do with it now. I mean, I know I could just buy the game for my Wii U, but like I would only really want to play that with my daughter.
Wait, you don't have Disney Infinity, but you bought the figures?
Well, the figures are pretty nice, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not saying they aren't, but...
Yeah, I know. It's a weird thing to do. Well, I bought them specifically for my daughter, though.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, one day she will want to do this, was my thinking. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think it's beyond her comprehension, really.
Yep.
Because don't you have to control a camera with the right stick or whatever when you play those games?
Probably.
Yeah, I can't see her being good at that.
Yeah.
At this point in time.
I found that my daughter plays some iPad and iPhone video games, but she is almost completely uninterested in the controller, in like the control pad for any game systems.
Yeah. You know, and we were sort of touching on that a little while ago with the Vita conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't want to go all the sky is falling, but it does
kind of
scare me a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, my point was
Disney
Infinity. What age do you think I should introduce that to my daughter?
When?
I'd wait a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
probably.
I'd say probably 4 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it will probably be like I don't know. I just don't want it to be lame at that point. You know, like.
Well, by then the Star Wars Infinity will be out, and you can probably have Elsa running around on Hoth.
Which honestly for me would be a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Well, also if Hollywood's visions of the future are to be believed, we'll be playing hologram video games by that time, and you won't even have to worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Good. Thank you. At the very least, I have these 2 figures mint in box, and I'll sell them on eBay one day.
There we go.
Are you allowing her to play with them in the box? It's like Elsa.
Yeah, like you can move it around.
Jesus Christ.
Dad of the year.
So I figured that I could not have been the first person to do the Disney owns Star Wars, so let's have Elsa on Hoth thing. I can't be the first person, so I googled Elsa and Hoth.
Oh God! Oh, geez.
and clicked on Google image search.
Well,
what it had done, it's showing results for Elsa Hot. Search instead for Elsa Hoth, and I typed Elsa Hoth.
Yeah, but this other search is much more popular.
And you know what? Strangely enough, the images that they're showing me for Elsa Hot, none of them are the Disney one. It's all like models and ladies in their underwear.
Yeah.
Stuff. I guess I must have some sort of safe search on because I'm not seeing any actual boobies. I'm gonna go ahead and search.
This could get ugly really fast, I bet, if you take safe search off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Already.
Elsa Hoth. There's a picture of her riding a tauntaun.
Excellent. I would expect that.
And geez, is that it? I'm seeing lots of pictures of Hoth. But yeah, just the one picture, some fan art.
Nobody on Hoth wanted to build a snowman.
I guess not. They did not.
So, yeah.
Well, I think more people should get on that and start doing the Frozen Star Wars crossover.
No.
It's right there.
Just go ahead and do it. It's right there.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah.
You guys can do it.
And we're back.
Are we really?
Yeah. In case you forgot,
very exciting.
Player One podcast.
Wait, what?
Yeah, a very small video game podcast.
It is. Diminutive.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Actually, I want to get to on your list here, Josh. You have received a Retron 5.
Yeah.
Therefore, I want to know everything about that experience that you can tell us.
Okay. First of all, Think Geek still has them in stock. Last I checked.
Do they still have it? Like, I had it in my cart and decided against it. Like, I had the email notification set up for when they got them back in stock, and decided not to.
Gotcha.
You were not as strong as I, and you ordered it.
Yeah, well, I can write it off as back in my play on my taxes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Out of stock at the moment.
Is it really?
Yeah, limited 2 per person, $139.99, out of stock.
It was
the only place also that was selling it at MSRP. Like anyone on Amazon was like, $249, please.
Yeah, and that's too much for it, quite frankly. Having it. Also, when I was in New York, they had them in stock at Video Games New York, which is a really great retro game store.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's not like in the main part. It's like kind of off the beaten path. It's not in Times Square or whatever. So it's kind of in a cooler part of New York.
Okay.
But
their store's in the Bronx.
That's right. That's right. I'm walking here. That's what I kept saying.
That was exclusively for CJ.
Yeah.
An obscure Rumble in the Bronx reference.
Everybody loves those.
Glance.
Your listenership just tripled.
My chair! Go on, I'm sorry.
Why don't you go play a Game Gear with no game in it?
You're all garbage.
All right, back on track. Retron 5.
Now I'm thinking about the Game Gear. Hold on. Okay. No.
Hovercraft. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
I'm done. Tell me about the Retron 5 because I do keep bouncing way back and way forth about this thing.
It's worth $140.
Is it?
I'll start out by saying that.
I want you to address my big fear that I have reading about this online. The thing that really kind of puts me off is every review I've read about it, it seems that like the cartridge slots are just maybe a little too thin for the cartridges. Like it's really difficult to get them out.
Yep, it's true. So everything they've ever made, for anyone who thinks right now, well, this guy just came on the podcast and said it's worth $140. He's, Hyperkin is giving him free units or something. I paid for this myself, and I've owned other Hyperkin products, and I've always had this issue with them.
If they give you, are they giving you free ones? Did you get I'll give you my address.
Even if they were giving me free ones, I would still talk crap about the controller. By the way.
See, this is why you don't get free stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That just said, have you seen the latest from Activision? Oh boy, they've got it figured out.
For my money, it doesn't get any better than. No, but it's the cartridge slots, absolutely. The Genesis one and the NES one especially. You got to work a little bit, but I've gotten pretty good at it.
Okay.
It's a shame that you have to get good at it.
Now, is this something that could be fixed with maybe a little sanding or something?
I have no idea. I have worked in academia most of my working life, so I know nothing of any craftiness like that.
So you don't know how sandpaper works?
Yes, exactly. That's what happens if you get a master's degree and then go for a PhD in liberal arts, they strip away any sort of practical know-how that you ever had.
There you go.
I mean, I'll give you a brief run through. You rub sandpaper on things,
we know how
and stuff goes away.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Is it as easy as modifying a Genesis to play Mega Drive games? Click, click.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
So it's hard to get the games out.
It is. Quite frankly, the SNES slot's pretty good, though, for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah?
And the GBA, Game Boy, whatever slot, and the Famicom slot seem fine.
Cool.
But I don't know why the Genesis and the NES ones are a pain, especially the Genesis one. So I know Greg wouldn't like to hear that.
No.
But
I do want to be able to play my old games on an HDMI input, though. Like that's the whole reason that I'm interested in this.
Same here.
Cool.
At all.
Like, honestly, okay. So my wife was in the room when I first set it up, and forced it into our setup where there was no good place for it, by the way, and she was very cool about that. In our den, where like the daughter plays and everything all the time. This is not some separate game room, and she was immediately taken back by how good it looked on the screen. I was playing Shatterhand. That's the first thing I put in there. I just grabbed a bunch of my carts from various consoles and put in Shatterhand, and like her jaw dropped. And she's not like a big retro game fan.
Her jaw dropped in Shatterhand.
You are the first person, and perhaps the only person, who will ever choose Shatterhand as the first game to experience on the Retron 5.
You know what? I'm gonna use Sunday Fun Day as the first.
And you know what?
That I put in.
And you know what? Shatterhand is a pretty good game. But
Right.
it's still, should I put in my Contra, or Mario 3, or Shatterhand? I think I'm gonna go.
You have to own Shatterhand to do that.
Yeah, that's your first hurdle.
Right, which that's going to eliminate almost everyone right away.
Oh,
but then you have to like have the lack of sense to put it in first, like I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really easy to set up though. Like, I mean, honestly, I had the whole thing up and running like in less than a minute. I thought that there might be more hurdles to jump over because of the, it's like a modified Android operating system that it runs on.
Right.
It was really quick and easy. It gives you an options menu for every single game where you can go and turn scan lines on. If you want to stretch it, make it look terrible, you can. I obviously, anyone with any sense would play in 4.3 the way it was intended. But anyway, if you want to stretch the image, you can. Some people like that. They don't like the black bars on the sides. And it just looks right. It looks the way the way you remembered your games looking.
Yeah.
Not all washed out like they would look through.
Like they would have really been on the television.
I remember my games looking like they're being filtered through about half a dozen RF adapters that I have chained
with
on
the
the
ghosted
back of my
image
TV.
of the Channel 5 news on it.
So maybe you need to get your VCR back out then. And
Hey.
figure out a way to get some sort of HDMI adapter and run it through that.
There you go.
No, it's really cool though. Like for the convenience, and especially like when you start playing Game Boy games and things like that on there.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be real nice.
That's really cool, and it's Game Boy Color, and GBA. I tried a couple of import GBA games I have. They played fine. It immediately knew exactly what the game was. It like brings up, it reads the game and tells you what it is you're playing, and it lets you create options specifically for that.
Wow.
And it has save states for everything, so you can pick it right back up where you left off. It's a pretty cool little device, aside from the kind of crummy build quality.
Okay.
It's worth $140 though, I would say, when you think about all of that through HDMI.
I wonder though. Yeah, I you get like a metal file or some sandpaper or something if you could widen the slots just a smidge.
Well, is it the slot itself or is it the pin connections? Because that could be.
It's the pin connections?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay.
Can't use sandpaper on the pin connections there, young Phil.
Well,
you
could.
Phil.
You could.
It's not gonna
probably not recommended.
Not gonna do you for what you want.
It wouldn't help. The people who aren't getting to see the video of that really missed out.
You slipped into that a little too naturally, CJ.
Well, I do live in Georgia.
It's rubbing off on
Josh
you.
is in Alabama. Like we know this stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's real. It's real, and it's very hot.
Oh man.
So you like it though? It's worth $140. You expect to get a lot of use out of it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've already used it a ton. My wife is playing Maniac Mansion on it. And and we have a retro game room upstairs at our house. Obviously, with the podcast I'm on and everything, I have to be able to play everything, so I have all those consoles hooked up.
Yep.
But that was sort of a barrier to her. She didn't want to go upstairs and sit in a beanbag chair with my lava lamp or whatever, which is what that room is like, by the way.
That's great.
Yeah, it's incredible. But she wanted to, for some reason, it being hooked up to the HD TV in the main room, she's playing Maniac Mansion. So I think it's sort of a nice way to modernize and allow for like multiplayer with people you know. Which normally when people play retro stuff, they don't get to do that because they have it hooked up to some CRT TV in a back room or whatever. Is sort of what I hear from our listeners. The other thing that's really cool about it is that it has SNES, Genesis, NES, SNES, Genesis, and NES controller ports. It has 2 of each one, and you can use whatever controller you want with any systems games.
Huh.
So, although the controller they ship with it, I mean, I don't even know where I put it. I just, I was disgusted.
It's in the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I might have thrown it away, or my wife might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Genesis games and Game Boy games and all sorts of stuff with an SNES controller, which I think is the greatest controller ever made. So that's a pretty cool thing if you have a preference. And I know like Greg is really big about the Genesis controller, the 6-button one. Like you can play NES games with that if you like that D-pad a lot or whatever.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that's a neat thing to be able to do easily.
And I like the save states stuff too, because so many of those games in the past didn't even have battery backup. And if I only have a short period of time to play, it's nice to have that stuff. And it's also nice to be able to play, like there are a lot of cartridges, like licensed games, and companies that went out of business where you're not going to get those games on Virtual Console or re-released as part of a classics collection anymore. So it's nice to be able to play some of those on an HD TV.
That certainly is. So worth $140, but man, I wish somebody would make something better that did the same thing.
Yeah, there was that aluminum NES thing that kind of does that, but yeah, it'd be nice to get somebody who actually has some quality standards to make something like this. I mean, Hyperkin, I have the Retron 3, I think, the one that does Genesis, NES, and Super Nintendo, and the quality on that is not good. It smells like a Happy Meal toy, like the plastic. What? Like it has that weird.
Does it kind of smell like McDonald's fries? Because
it kind of does. No,
maybe we're remembering the smell of Happy Meal toys differently.
No, but the cheap plastic smell and like the weird like metallic odor that you get sometimes in really cheapo electronics.
Oh man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Is that the white and blue one, CJ? The Retron 3?
I have the red one.
Okay.
Whichever one is the red one. That's the one I have.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about, and this is built better than that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
This is probably the nicest thing they've ever made. Which, still, that's sort of like saying this was the best season the Toronto Raptors have ever had.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Let's go. You're talking to the 2 wrong people.
I know.
Goes sailing right.
They're not very good.
Something to do with Jurassic Park? Because
Spielberg killed the dinosaur.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jerk.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
These rich guys think they can do anything.
Yeah. Josh, you want to tell us about any of the other games you've been playing?
Your cat has entered the shot, by the way.
Yes, yeah, there he is.
What is your cat's name?
Houdini.
Houdini, okay.
He's been a real jerk to Phil before.
Has he?
True.
Phil will tell you all about it.
Yeah. Oh, I've told the story.
I think I missed it somehow.
At some point on the podcast, I told that story.
In a previous episode.
The what for?
Yes.
The what for?
Yeah.
I'm playing Shovel Knight, which you guys have already talked a pretty good bit about Shovel Knight, so I won't say too much about it. I'm playing it on 2DS, and I think that's a great place to play it, or any of the 3DS variations.
Yeah.
Because it puts the different items on the touchscreen, so you can kind of quickly select them when you want to.
Yeah. It's
switch. Great. Yeah. I kind of feel like that's the best way to play the game. Because I have a friend who's playing it on PC, and I know what the Wii U version is like, so I don't know. I would recommend that one most highly. What a great game, though. Just really intelligently designed. There was a great gaff thread this week. I don't know if you guys saw it, where the original poster detailed how they teach you to play the game in like an expert fashion from the very beginning.
Oh.
It's sort of like a game design 101 thing that they did. And the poster shows pictures of like each thing he's talking about like here's where they introduce enemies for the first time and they teach you this mechanic and anyway, Yacht Club, obviously they spent a long time on that game and they knocked it out of the park. And those are some way forward guys, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, they're just quality in general. Yeah. So I've been playing that, but you guys have already talked about it a fair amount. Have either one of you gotten to do the Street Pass thing with that?
I did.
I did not.
Oh, so what's it like?
I did. Last weekend I hung out with friends of the show, Ethan Einhorn and Greg Ford.
Name drop.
Yeah, that's right. And Greg Ford is the smart one of the two because he actually bought Shovel Knight. And for 3DS.
Wait, Ethan hasn't bought Shovel Knight? What?
What was his excuse?
Possible?
You know what? He may have bought the. He probably bought the Wii U version.
Wii U. Okay.
Yeah, because he's all.
That's forgivable then.
He's all super big on the off-screen play. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ford had the 3DS version, and we Street Passed. And now, have you actually gone in and programmed your Ghost or whatever yet?
No.
Okay.
I need to do that.
Have you found the Street Pass arena yet?
Yes.
Okay. So what you do is when you go into the little Street Pass arena, it takes you into just a single room with some platforms and 6 like diamonds, scattered around, and you have like a really short amount of time, like 5 seconds, to run around and collect as many of the diamonds as you can.
Okay.
And the trick is while you're doing that, you can also just start randomly attacking. Swinging your axe or shovel around.
Axe.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. This is an axe night. So, and then it saves your Ghost of doing that. And then when you Street Pass, it takes the opponent's Ghost and puts it up against your Ghost. So you have, you're not actually controlling the game. After you Street Pass, you're watching your 2 Ghosts duke it out, and what the idea is, the hope is that you running around jumping and swinging your shovel, you're hoping that your shovel will hit your opponent and sort of stop them from collecting the gems.
That's a neat take on asynchronous multiplayer.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, kind of interesting, but yeah, Ford and I were both kind of excited to try it out because neither one of us had messed around with it before. And I'm proud to say that my Ghost beat his. So
naturally.
Nice. And it is consistent between the two. I in my game I ended up winning, and you get like 200 gold or something like that for winning. And then when Greg played it on his system, he ended up losing. So,
do you lose gold if you lose?
I don't believe so.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, he didn't mention anything about that, so I don't believe you do.
Yeah, so it's not a lot of gold at stake, though. This is more for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Not the love of the money.
Exactly.
Well, that's good, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, if you aren't playing Shovel Knight, I don't know. You need a good excuse, I guess. Maybe if you just simply don't have the money, that would qualify as a good excuse. But otherwise, there's no good reason not to play this game.
It's true.
It's true.
I'm also playing Children of the Atom on the Sega Saturn, the X-Men fighting game that was an arcade.
Wait, is this the one with you needed the 4 meg RAM cart?
Yes.
No. Wait.
I have that.
Children of the Atom didn't need the card.
Was it X-Men vs. Street Fighter that needed it?
Yeah, because Children of the Atom came out in the U.S.
It did, yes. I have a mint copy I got at Video Games New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, X-Men Street Fighter was the one that had the extra 4 meg card.
Okay, I have the 4 meg card in my system.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if it was doing anything or not. But wow, that's a great game with Evo going on this weekend. I'm
very nice.
Kind of in the fighting game mood, so I've been playing a little Children of the Atom by myself, which is not the best way to play a fighting game.
You know.
And StarFox on SNES because we're doing that on Back in My Play.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if these were work related.
X-Men Children of the Atom was extracurricular.
Extracurricular
activity.
Not bad.
And so I could sit in the beanbag chair, and zone out for a while. And really, that's very zen for me up there. And StarFox is definitely for the show. Like, I'm actually taking notes on it like I do when we play games.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's just on my iPhone. I don't want you to imagine that I put on a press hat or anything like that. And
you have a note, legal pad.
Yeah, legal pad. I'm flipping through.
You know what you should do? Run your system through a VCR and record yourself playing. Then you can go back and reference afterwards.
Here's what I did here. This is high-level strategy. Actually, the CRT I play on upstairs has a VCR built into it, so it's really easy.
Oh, really? It's one of those.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Not Sylvania. And StarFox, I'll talk about this on the show on Back in My Play, but man, those asteroid blasting levels are really boring to me.
Yeah.
But the parts of the game where you're actually flying around hold up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
But those asteroid levels just like grind the game to a halt. And I didn't remember them being that boring.
I haven't played the game in a while, so I'd have to...
I haven't either. It's because it's not available on Virtual Console, and I haven't hooked up my Super Nintendo to a television.
Well, it's a really charming game, though, so I would recommend hooking it up and playing it sometime soon.
Does that work on the Retron 5?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's another reason why you should get a Retron 5.
Super FX games work.
Super FX games.
I don't know, though. I think some don't work.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't know why that would be the case. Like, I think I've heard that maybe Stunt Racer doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Well, that's not a very good game anyway.
Yeah, it's like 10 frames per second.
Yoshi's Island?
Cars.
I haven't tried Yoshi's Island on it. I don't know.
I think it does. I think I've heard it does work.
Okay.
But yeah, StarFox is a game that I would recommend people pick it up if you want it, because it's probably never coming out on the Virtual Console, it looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and carts are really going up in price, partly due to the Retro, partly because of the Retron 5, but also just there's just been sort of a push for retro games for a few years now. And there's evidence of it when you look at what different games cost on eBay a year ago versus what they cost today. It's already pretty profound. So go on and pick up your copies of StarFox now, guys.
I still have my original copy of StarFox.
Good deal. One of you has some sort of really crazy StarFox memorabilia, right?
You mean the salt shaker for StarFox Assault?
Yes.
Right here. Yeah.
That is so cool.
I had, and I don't remember if I still do, but back when the original StarFox came out on the SNES, I was working at Babbage's, and we had, Nintendo sent us some marketing material, and among it was a cardboard R-Wing. It was
nice.
It was pretty sizable. It was like maybe 2 feet long or so. Wingspan was pretty big size, if I remember correctly, and it was kind of this sort of shiny foil reflective covering over it to give it this kind of shine. And yeah, it was just this sort of cardboard origami R-Wing, and it had the string and the hook so you could hang it from the ceiling of the store.
Yeah.
And I ended up with it after the promotion was over, and I don't know if I still have it. If I do, it's in my parents' attic somewhere, but I can't remember. But it was...
That's where you have to ask yourself, is it worth looking through the attic for it? Because I have things in my mom's attic, and it's very hot in her attic.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's also why I'm scared to go up there because I have a bunch of my old Transformers up there.
Which could lead you down a slippery slope, huh?
Well, I'm just worried that they have
Rusted.
Well, pooled into a giant mess of melted plastic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if you want me to hit my last game that I've been playing, my wife and I continue to play Mario Kart 8 online together 3 nights a week.
That is a fantastic game.
It is, and it's gorgeous. I was arguing about this on an episode of Back in My Play. I don't know if I was really arguing. I think that they were just sort of making fun of me a little bit. But I think it's the best looking game of this generation, including the PS4 and the Xbox One.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
And I understand it's only because of like the bright color palette and more of just like the art style in general. I understand that the PS4 and Xbox One are doing things that the Wii U is not capable of doing. I fully get that argument, but it's really pleasant to look at, and there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, the other thing is that it moves at such a constant frame rate with those amazing visuals too. Like you'll get games on the Xbox One and PS4 that look fantastic, but oftentimes they take a frame rate hit.
And this is where the whole growing up really loving 90s 16-bit era games, like I'm a big fan of proper frame rates. Like I don't want it to dip below 30 ever. That's sort of inexcusable to me. So
I can deal with the 25. Any lower than that, it kind of is ridiculous.
Yeah, like because think about the original Shadow of the Colossus, not the HD remaster or whatever. I mean, it does dip pretty low sometimes.
Yeah.
Which memorable game in its own right, but that's that taints it certainly.
Yeah.
But that taints it certainly.
Taints. A whole bunch of taints.
Taints it.
All right.
Taint misbehaving.
Is that a Mr. Show reference?
That is a Mr. Show
reference. That was a great show.
That was a great show.
Was that Bob Odenkirk's first thing?
Taint. What's that?
Was that Bob Odenkirk's first thing?
Oh no.
I don't. It was not his first thing.
Bob he was on the Ben Stiller show back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
was that like his first thing that kind of put him on the map though?
What
I don't think Mr. Show put anybody on the map.
Yeah. The map of like indie elitists who would like it years later.
I'd say Breaking Bad put Bob Odenkirk on the map.
Yeah. Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
It's your Adult Swim brethren.
That's right. We're co-workers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have cubicles right next to each other, I imagine.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then Brack is right down the hall from you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody remembers Brack. Nobody remembers Brack these days.
He's the president, right?
What? Oh my goodness!
Joke.
You're
close.
A dumb joke.
Like
You're
Barack
close. No, I got it.
You got the joke?
I got it. I just don't approve.
When I teach my classes, I have to explain my jokes sometimes.
Yes.
That's really awkward.
Sometimes Phil does as well.
Yeah.
We're the only podcast where he can make Mr. Show references and Galaxy Quest especially, and actually, expect to laugh. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we all need a place for that. We need an outlet.
True.
What about you guys? What have you been playing?
I've been playing Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
That game is awesome. I mentioned Guacamelee that I started playing on the Xbox One.
Have you played that before?
I had played a little bit of it before, but never really got that far into it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping now that we're at a bit of a lull in game releases that I'll take some more time to play that.
Yeah. I played through it before, and I'm kind of itching to play through it again. I'm very tempted to pick up the sort of remix version of it, but
yeah,
I'm a bit hesitant given the price and that it's it is sort of just a modified version of the original game.
That's true. Yeah.
But there is like an extra world or something, right? Or area?
Right.
Yeah, there are extra areas in there, and really the only reason I got it was games with gold.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I just I'm hesitant to pay full price for it if it is just like a new world. It's one of those it'll probably be on like a.
But it's Drinkbox. Drinkbox is great.
They're fantastic. I love them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I might wait for a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'd wait for a PS Plus freebie, but I would. I think I'm gonna wait for a sale.
Yeah. Speaking of sales.
Yeah.
Did you see the 99-cent flash sale?
Holy crap!
Sony has going on now.
Amazing deals on that.
Yeah.
Sweet Juniper.
You'll be happy to know that I finally bit on Papo EO.
Good lad. Now the trick is playing it.
That's true.
So
and I picked up.
It's great you own it.
Yeah. Toe Jam and Earl.
Yep. So did I.
Why is that only on PS3? I noticed that when I bought it.
Is it?
Toe Jam and Earl, yeah, it's not.
It's not on 360?
Well, no. That it's not available for like PSP and Vita.
Right. Oh, well, it was part of that Sega Classics.
Oh, when they did Gunstar.
Right.
Yeah, M2 programmed it, or well, not programmed it, but ported it.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you get?
Save states in that one would be real nice. I only ever finished that game once, and it was when I was homesick from school. I was like, all right, now I've got the time. I'm gonna finish this game.
I actually played through that game a few times back in the day.
Yeah, it's an awesome game.
I love it.
I would like to play through it again.
I love it.
Sometime, and I probably will. And then I picked up Dino Crisis 1 and 2.
Yep.
There are not enough games these days with dinosaurs in space. That is a concept that I really enjoy and
utilize. You realize that neither Dino Crisis nor Dino Crisis 2
is in space.
Are in space. Just 3.
Well, yeah, but the series as a whole, the way it was going, the direction it was going.
I hate to break it to you, dude.
But, well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was bummed out because I already owned a few of these games that are really good deals, but I picked up. Is that all you picked up?
That's all I picked up. Yep.
Okay, I picked up. I went a little nuts. I got Tekken 2. I got the Dino Crisis 1 and 2. Got Toe Jam and Earl. I got the PS3 version of Velocity Ultra.
Yeah.
I got Harvest Moon. I got Virtua Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking about getting Harvest Moon actually.
Yeah.
I've never played one of those games.
Neither have I, but I figured, for $1.
Yeah.
I'll never play it for $1. Why not?
It's funny because it's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I picked up Twisted Metal Black as well.
Nice.
Okay.
So,
I think, so that Virtua Fighter 2, I believe that's the Saturn version.
Is it the Saturn version? Or is it an arcade?
It's like the arcade perfect Saturn port, from what I understand, based on what I was reading on NeoGAF about it.
Okay, because you can. I know you can switch between like version 2.0 and version 2.1, which suggests to me an arcade version, unless there were, multiple.
I think you could do that on the Saturn game as well.
Could you?
Yeah.
Could you? Okay. Maybe
So
it will be the case.
But that's the real deal, Virtua Fighter 2, is my point here. So you got to get on that.
That game was good.
The game is tough. I was playing a little bit last night, and I was getting my hinder kicked. I suck at Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, I don't know how much fun that game is. Period. Even if you are good at it, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
It's sort of like being really good at math or something. Does that make sense?
All I know is it's no Virtua Fighter Kids.
Yes. That's more in line with what I like.
I like Virtua Fighter Kids.
What about Sonic the Fighters? Come on.
Hey, that's on PS3 as well.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not part of the sale, though.
It's $5.
I was kidding about it being good, so I take it all back.
Oh, well. CJ, you should totally play Papo.io, though.
I'm going to.
You really should. It's not a terribly long game.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, when it first came out, it is, kind of...
Well, what should I play, Guacamelee or Papo.io?
Well, since you already started Guacamelee, finish up Guacamelee, and then move on to Papo.io.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can tell everybody about the new stuff in Guacamelee.
Oh, I'm not that good of a player to get to the new stuff.
It is pretty hard at times.
Yeah.
Be unforgiving. So Phil, Papo.io is a game that I picked up in the sale as well, and
you've not played it?
I've not played it yet. No, but I really like story-driven games when the story is good, which this seems to be a case in which it's good.
Yes, it is fantastic. It was in my top 5. Whatever year it was that came out, actually, and I forget exactly if it was 2-3 years ago. Was it 2012? Yeah.
Or 11.
But yeah, like I said back in the day, it has a lot of problems. Technically. Technically, it is not a fantastic game. The controls are a little janky and it feels a little glitchy sometimes, but just the world that you are in and the narrative that is spread throughout the game, and it's not it's not something that's told through cinemas or anything like that. It's just watching scenes play out as you go through the game. It's really good and pretty moving by the end, actually. It feels like less of a game and more of an interactive look into the developer's diary, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's very autobiographical and it feels very autobiographical, and by the end of the game you're just kind of like, wow, this is heavy and pretty awesome. So yeah, it's definitely worth playing for sure.
It sounds like the kind of thing that you would have to, and this is the way I played Gone Home. I did have a PC I could play games on for a while, by the way, to come back to what I said earlier. So I did play Gone Home, and you can't play it while you're playing a bunch of other games.
Right.
Bounce back and forth between something that is that heavy and narrative driven. So yeah, Papo.io, I think I would need to set aside my other games for a couple days in order to do it right.
Right. And like I said, it's not a terribly long game. It's been a while since I played it, but I want to say it was like maybe 6 hours, maybe less.
That's the sweet spot for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
People complain about being, shorter than 8 hours, but when you're old and have kids, it helps.
Yeah, other things going on. Short games are good. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yep. Especially for $1.
Yep. Yeah, I like this whole flash sale thing that's been going on.
Oh yeah.
And this summer it seems like Sony and Microsoft have been sort of doing dueling deals on their previous generation systems. Like the 360's gotten like a lot of pretty good deals as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is great to see. I want more of this.
This is the Steam influence in a positive way.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just looked up on howlongtobeat.com, which is
HLTB.
Yes, the site where you can go see what people have said, as far as like how long games took them to beat. But it looks like 4 hours roughly for Papo.io. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, that'll be a project for me this week then.
Yeah, you can sit down and
cool.
Spend maybe two sessions or so plowing through it.
Get ready to work through some stuff with my dad.
Exactly.
From what I understand about the game.
Yeah, it's all about daddy issues.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey Phil, did you want to talk about Qbert there in your list, or should we go on to tweets?
Is Qbert actually in your list?
It
is.
Yeah.
Qbert Rebooted came out
this
week. and I picked it up because, hey, it's Q*bert, and I love the original Q*bert.
Yeah.
And I've loved the character ever since he first appeared in Wreck-It Ralph, that movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet. But that was his debut. It's terrible. It's really
terrible.
bad. It's really bad. It's bad.
All right.
It's a very bad version of Q*bert. They have a poorly ported version of the original arcade game, where the graphics are all kind of blurry and ugly, and there are no options to alter filters or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have the rebooted version that has the fancy new graphics that look like early CD-ROM style rendered redesigns of classic characters, and they changed the layouts of the stages. So instead of hopping on cubes, you're hopping on like hexagons.
All right.
And instead of just being able to jump in the 4 diagonal directions on the cubes, you can now jump in 6 different directions, and it really kind of messes up the mechanics and the layouts of the stages, and it's not a terribly good game, and I was bummed because I friggin' loved Q*bert back in the day. So
yeah, me too.
Consider this a warning, Q*bert fans.
Play I think it was in 1999 they did a sort of reboot of Q*bert for the Dreamcast and PS1.
Yeah, that was also not very good.
I kind of liked it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. They sort of changed the stages to being very much more puzzly. Because they had other obstacles than just enemies that you had to get past and whatnot. So I thought that was a more interesting take.
Oh, look at you.
On that, but yeah, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
I wonder what possesses someone to make a new Q*bert game in 2014.
What possesses them was that Wreck-It Ralph happened. No, you laugh, you laugh, CJ, but I'm dead serious. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I think it's Sony who owns the license now, right?
I thought it was, but this is not made by Sony. This is somebody else.
Yeah, but someone in some licensing department said, hey, you know what? We own, or we can easily get a hold of the Q*bert license. It was just in that movie.
Let's do it.
Let's bring him back. Let's bring him back.
The kids want it.
Right. The kids are demanding more Q*bert.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right, how about we do some tweets?
Oh, you don't want me to talk about One Piece?
Do you want to talk about One Piece Red?
Do you not want me to?
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
It's called Phil Red. Is that his new nickname?
Yes. I picked up One Piece Unlimited World Red.
What is this game? What is it? And what is it for? And why are we talking about it? Can I do tweets?
One Piece is an... F you. You. People like One Piece. Whatever.
Do they?
One Piece is an... Yes!
Oh.
Yes,
I like One Piece.
Go look at the friggin' the NeoGaf thread about it.
Okay.
It's people like it. One Piece is an anime series starring a super...
Are you sure it's not a manga?
Well, it is, but just in Italy. Over here, it's a Japanimation.
Oh.
Starring a magical pirate who travels through space with his bounty hunter crew.
Uh-huh.
No,
Doesn't he fish? I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
You are thinking of Big Ol' Bass, Fisherman's Bait 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. That's what you're
thinking.
You are thinking of that scene in Robotech where they eat the tuna head.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Spaceship.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It is a One Piece game, and unlike the One Piece Pirate Warriors Muso type games, this one is more of an action adventure game. It's kind of a big sprawling open worldy sort of thing.
Okay.
And I've played a little bit so far. It is available I got it on PS3. It is also available on the Vita.
With last-gen systems, is what you're saying.
Oh, man. With a... Here, hey, you want to talk about store exclusives?
Yeah?
It's not... You can get it through the PSN store on your Vita. If you want a retail version on your Vita, though, you got to go to GameStop.
It's GameStop exclusive, that's right.
Yeah. And then it's on 3DS, and it is on Wii U.
Okay.
But the Wii U version is digital only, strangely enough.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Huh.
But it's I've played through like the first couple stages, and it's pretty darn cool.
It's an action game. Like what is it? A brawler?
It is. You're running around stages exploring, and then dudes come out and you fight them, and it's it's strangely enough, it kind of gives me Arkham vibes, like the Arkham games. Yeah, because you have this sort of big open world, and the Luffy, the main character, his gimmick is he can
Luffy
stretch. Is it Luffy?
Yeah,
Luffy.
Say it right.
Lufa.
No.
He can stretch his limbs.
That's right.
And,
gum fruit.
That's right. Yo ho ho. He had a bite of gum.
Are we done with this?
Boy, you are a bitch about this. What is wrong with you? You stretch your arms.
Like we're losing audience here as you continue to talk about One Piece.
You whatever, dude. I'm saying you stretch and you can rocket yourself across the city like the grappling hook in the Batman games, and the fighting system is kind of similar. You have the counters and all that stuff. I'm enjoying it so far, so screw you.
Okay.
Screw you.
All right.
Yeah. Tell me more about Monsters Ate My Birthday Cake. Okay? You want to be...
What? It's a great game from Cartoon Network Games, not Adult Swim.
It's closely affiliated with you.
Yeah,
with you guys over there.
Sort of.
Is it a good game?
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna tell me yes, but I'm actually curious about playing it.
Yeah, it's good.
It looks like it might be fun.
It's a fun little game.
I like the art style.
Me too. It's nice.
Yeah, you want to talk about losing people now? Yeah. There you go.
Should we do a couple of Twitter questions?
Tweet, you jerk.
All right. These people sent us tweets, so we have to do it, right? Hacker alias Owazifa says, have any of the hosts ever beaten a Ninja Gaiden game, old or new, and which ones?
Oh man, hell yes I did.
Did you?
I beat the real Ninja Gaiden game, by which I mean the NES ones. Actually, that's not true. I did not beat Ninja Gaiden 3.
Did you use a Game Genie for any of this?
Oh, hells no.
No?
Let me tell you this. Okay. I played
I'd imagine that'd be frustrating.
The ever-loving poop out of the original Ninja Gaiden for NES. I friggin' loved it. One of my favorite games for that system. I played it over and over and friggin' over, and I ended up beating it several times, first of all, and it really got to the point where it was practically muscle memory.
Really?
Like I could start glancing away from the screen and still get through it. And I will also tell you this, that those skills atrophy after a while.
Right.
Trying to play that game, I'm not as good at it as I was back in junior high, certainly.
Right. Josh, what about you?
I only played the NES ones. I don't think I ever beat any of them, though. And I was pretty young at the time. That might have been part of the problem.
I only got to the third or fourth stage. They were really friggin' hard.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We've never done any of those games on Back in My Play, so that's something that we should do. And, Phil, since you've beaten some of these games, I'm just saying.
Hey,
There you go.
But no, I've never beaten any of them. What about you, CJ?
No. And I don't even think I beat the Xbox remake.
Yeah, I did.
The reboot.
Yeah.
That was a tough game too.
Yes, it was.
So is that series sort of in limbo right now?
Well, they just did that Yaiba. Was that the?
Yeah, Yaiba, Ninja Gaiden Z.
Right.
Which I don't think was well received at all.
Right.
So, the kids are back.
Yeah, and he got a book.
Let's see. Let's do another tweet.
Okay.
This one from hacker alias Evan OM.
Yeah.
Who says, what are you looking forward to besides Destiny for this year's release list for big AAA games looking very light?
I'm looking forward to Destiny?
Well, no, you aren't.
Oh, okay.
But some people are. I've got that pre-ordered.
Yeah.
This is a serious question, CJ, but you talk about motion sickness.
Yes.
Do you think that you'll be able to play Destiny and actually enjoy it, or do you think, since it's a little bit slower paced?
Yeah, because because
Hold on. I'm a mutant.
Okay, I got into the alpha of Destiny and was able to play it perfectly fine, and I think in part because the Halo games have not given me motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do Destiny no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got to try it yet, but I'm going to be in the beta, so
nice.
I'll give it the old college try, as they say.
Did you have a PS4, or what system are you playing on?
I don't. I have a PS3 and a Wii U and a Vita and a 2DS right now.
Okay.
Which is probably the weirdest setup of consoles I've ever had.
Yeah. It's a nice lineup, though. A little bit of everything.
Yeah. I decided I used to have a PS4, but I realized that I only played my PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get a PS4 again next year, probably.
Yep, when it becomes worthwhile to own again.
Yeah, I honestly would kind of like an Xbox One, though, because of Sunset Overdrive. And another Platinum Games release for it.
Yeah, let's see what happens with Sunset Overdrive. That's one of those games where I'm sure it demos quite well, but what is the final game going to be like? Is it going to be a system seller, or is it going to be a fun game to play if you already own an Xbox One? That
exactly.
would be the real question.
Which it could fall which is kind of what I see the Order 1886 being for PS4.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a neat thing to play if you have a PS4.
Yeah.
But I don't know, other big AAA games this year. A lot of things have been moved to 2015, obviously, which is part of Evan's question.
Are you an Assassin's Creed guy or a Far Cry? No.
I did kind of like the latest Assassin's Creed though, because it was basically a pirate game instead of a proper Assassin's Creed game. So I wish they would keep going down that route with it.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I'd be all into that.
And really gorgeous on PS4, especially when you're out in the open seas like that.
Exactly. All those sea shanties are awesome.
Yes, of course. But yeah, there's a new Assassin's Creed and a new Far Cry. I mean, I guess you like both of those series, right?
Yep, I'll totally be into those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's Nintendo's big? I mean, I don't know if Evan's going to call those AAA games, but I certainly do. Their
big thing is
what's that?
Smash Brothers and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
So Smash Brothers would definitely be the big title they have.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a big deal. I think that's going to move a lot of units, and that it's going to be a big seller, especially when you factor in the Amiibo figures alongside it, which those will launch at the same time.
I'm almost more excited about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is probably weird, but I loved those levels in Super Mario 3D World, so yeah.
That was one of those things. I was watching the Nintendo E3 press conference or digital event, I should say. Mm-hmm. And when they showed that, I was so pleased, because that was one of those things that was so obvious to do that I figured they would not do it.
Right. And yet they did, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a full box title with gorgeous art. They've been knocking it out of the park with their cover art this generation.
They really have. Although nobody's buying any of their games, so...
I don't know what's wrong with people. In my mind, the Wii U and the Vita are two of the greatest systems that have ever been made.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. And I know when I say nobody, that's painting with a bit of a broad stroke, but at the same time,
yeah,
they're really not doing that great at retail.
It's true. It's a shame. It's a real shame.
Yep.
All right, you know what? I think we might have to end the show, and Phil is still off in Babyland, but that's all right.
Yeah, all we have is this pixelated picture of him. Speak to us, Phil.
That's right. He's still gone.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I know how that goes.
Alrighty, and that is the end of the show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Let's see. If you would like to send us a question or comment on something that you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find Generation 16 episodes, blogs about Sega CD games from Mr. Gregory J. Seward, and a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners. If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so at player1podcast.com or on the iTunes Music Store. There you will also find the Player One Podcast iPhone application. Gives you one-touch communication with us via Twitter, email, and other ways. Also, you can listen to all of our episodes that we've made, all 400. Which is pretty cool. All for the nice price of $1.99.
Cheap.
There you go. I was hoping you would do that.
Yeah.
If you have an Android cell phone, telephone, you can also get that app at the Amazon Android App Store, also for $1.99.
Cheap.
Also cheap, there you go. And that gives you all that other good stuff, too. You can like us on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, you can listen to us on Stitcher, and I think that's the whole spiel there. Josh, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, I have two things. First of all, I'm a writer, so I have a book on Amazon that you can download from the Kindle store called Train of Thought, which is a very weird sci-fi book that basically shows you what it's like to have obsessive-compulsive disorder through the tale of an alien powering a train with his brain. So,
all right,
pretty weird book. It's only $3 though on Amazon. So
okay, we'll link to that from the show notes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Website, bonusstarconsulting.com, which is where I will come in and write or edit whatever writing you have for your video game or movie. I don't know. I'm trying to build it up. I have a couple of clients, but I need to do better with that. So bonusstarconsulting.com. And finally, Back in My Play is the podcast. Please do check it out. And also on teespring.com, we have a limited run of T-shirts. We need to sell one more in order for these to get made, and this one actually has the Japanese versions of several consoles. So yeah, the Famicom and the Mega Drive and some good stuff like that. So check it out at Teespring, or it's linked from backinmyplay.com.
Very cool. Yes, Back in My Play, excellent show.
Yeah.
Well worth your listening to and subscribing to.
Thank you.
It is awesome. Josh, you did
Back
a great
in
job
my-
on the show. Kevin, also excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you guys for having me. What, Phil?
Oh, I was just saying the shirts are fantastic. I love my Back in My Play shirt.
Which one do you have?
I have the portable gaming system one.
Aha!
That's my favorite
Yes.
one.
Yeah. Game Boy, the Neo Geo.
Yes. Well, and we have. I don't design those, so I feel like I can say those are really awesome designs.
No, it's amusing. My son is now in the "what's that" phase, where he points at just about everything and asks what that is. And the other day I was wearing my Back in My Play shirt, and he points to the shirt and, oh, what's that? And I have to explain, oh, well, that is a Game Boy. And then I have to explain what a Game Boy is. What's that? Oh, well, that's a Game Gear. And then, oh, this is a Neo Geo Pocket Color. And, of course, he's repeating all of these back to me. So
Is that just
pretty
like
adorable.
the year-old thing of you say a word to them and they say it back to you?
Yeah,
Yes.
They're kind of trying it on.
exactly.
That's adorable, though.
2-year-old saying Neo Geo Pocket Color is fantastic.
That's what the world needs right
Yep.
now.
It's true.
That's right. That's
More people
right.
saying Neo Geo Pocket Color, especially 2-year-olds. So thank you.
Yes, indeed.
You did your part.
I do what I can.
Yeah. Probably the Game Gear is something we should all just forget ever happened, but the other two on that charter.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you.
And we'll have to have you back sometime when Stewie's we have more people here too.
Yes, I will come in and ramble about retro stuff or whatever anytime you guys want.
Excellent.
Groovy.
All right. See everybody next week.
Peace.
Bye.